Welcome everybody to VonIvan versus Luvnest. VonIvan defeated his first challenger, Cookies and Cream. He's up against a scary second challenger though, challenger Luvnest. It's going to be VonIvan's elite troops, picked pretty early here on Bystraya Voda. This is the first time, by the way, I've seen this map in a truly competitive best of 3 setting. I put it in the map pool for Starcross Cup, but it was never chosen, although it came close a couple times. But never chosen in Starcross Cup, so I have ham-fisted it. I am forcing these players to play on it for Starcrossed Kings, because it's in the rotation. There's no veto process or anything, and we're gonna see what we think about it. This will be the first time I've really seen competitive play on Bystraya Voda, so based on this series, which should be a great series by the way, I may decide if I want to keep it in the rotation or not. I'm not sure I'm sold on this map, but we're going to find out. So Luvnest has guard motor, shock rifle, and mechanized support. Conscripts engaging against Pyos here in the north. Early map control very much in Luvnest's favor, playing as Soviets with a 4 conscript, extra combat engineer opening. Pretty standard stuff, I would say.
Our soldiers are now equipped with Model 24 stun grenades.
And I'm curious to see if VonIvan can make elite troops work on this map. Maybe he picked that specifically for the Tiger Ace just because he doesn't think he's going to be able to take that south fuel from Luvnest. There's a little wire down there, a little light defenses, some more wire right there as well from Luvnest, so he's going to try and make it as difficult as possible for VonIvan to ever retake that, and he's currently just holed up here in the north. He's not cut off. This is not a cutoff point, fortunately. Otherwise, VonIvan would really be in trouble. Strategic point, victory point. He's got everything in a line all the way up to that north munitions, and he's got his 1 VP, so he's got enough to survive on for a little while. Try and engage as effectively as he can for manpower. He's already been forced off of this cutoff, though, by those conscripts, shoving him way back into the base.
Our headquarters has been improved. We can now build light mechan. The sector has been cut off.
MG42 firing on some conscripts. Another grenadier squad gets wiped. I think there's a little tiny sprinkle of deep snow right there, and they just died on it. Is it gone? I think that mortar crater just destroyed the only deep snow right there. Interesting. Luvnest off to a pretty strong start. Wiped 1 grenadier squad, moving to get control of the north munitions now. Flamethrower Pyos taking control of this strategic point. And that combat engineer squad just got blasted by a pretty good mortar. They've got to retreat. Grenadiers moving to take control of that munitions point. Luvnest off to an incredibly strong start here. Excellent map control, good engagements. VonIvan is clearly struggling. Looks like he's not gone battle phase 2 yet, so no tier 2 from him. Just going to keep going into tier 1 units. His MG42 and Grenadier, or Granatenwerfer mortar opening has left him with a little bit a small amount of capping power. He doesn't have very much capping power, pushing power. He's just kind of slowly working his way across the north and making basically no effort to take the south at all. Which is still totally undefended by Luvnest, by the way. Grenadiers have to retreat right there. Luvnest maintains control of that central munitions point and the north with his sandbags that we all know Luvnest loves building green cover. Sandbags. Constantly building those things. Nice mine right there. Jeez, that one was brutal. 3 of 4 grenadiers killed on that mine. 2 flamethrowers from Luvnest, and they're going to head center from the look of things. This flamethrower squad trying to work on the strategic point, but the munitions is still in Luvnest control, setting up in green cover on these points to try and make it very difficult for VonIvan to retake anything.
half-track has arrived.
Orders, man down!
The enemy is astray!
MG-42 firing on those combat engineers. Half-track moves to engage against grenadiers here in the church.
Combat infantry now have access to additional equipment and tactics.
This could be a very rough engagement for VonIvan. Flamethrower putting pressure on that MG, and it's got to get out of there. LMG Grins in the church are bleeding those conscripts hard, and another machine gun moving up actually forces the retreat and will keep that flamethrower pinned behind the tank outside flamethrower range on the church. Half-track here for Luvnest will be able to reinforce conscripts on the front line. Pretty fun to see that forward reinforcement Soviet half-track used, because that's pretty unusual in the current meta, but it's always, it's not by any means ineffective. We've certainly seen Korean Army make good use of it. Luvnest seems to be doing the same here now. It seems to be not necessarily non-meta, but just kind of a stylistic decision that most players don't really make. Maybe that, I guess that is almost the definition of non-meta, though. It's something that most players don't do. But that doesn't make it underpowered, it just makes it non-meta. Kind of an interesting distinction, I guess. Mortar is eventually going to pound those conscripts out of this cover, though, or at least make it very expensive to keep reinforcing right here. Ooh, that mortar's getting some really nice hits off. Pretty popular position for mortars up on this hill on this map, I've noticed. Apparently that holds true in both competitive and ladder games. Conscripts making their way through this red cover area.
We have lost an MG team. Our opponents are seizing a sector.
And that machine gun has been cleared by the quad mount. Half-track, gonna reinforce these conscripts and the stolen machine gun out of that half-track. That's gonna give him a really strong forward position. This half-track is already paying off big time in map control. And stolen team weapons. VonIvan down now to 3 grenadier squads, flamethrower piles, mortar, and AT gun.
Are securing our territory.
So
The enemy has broken our supply lines. The territory is out of contact. The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
VonIvan trying to break back out onto the map now. Runs up into close range on some conscripts right there. Mortar looks like it was... Wait, is that a Soviet mortar? Yeah, Soviet mortar fielded by Luvnest. Gets a huge hit on that grenadier squad and forces an immediate retreat. Nice late game mortar, putting pressure on his opponent's usage of team weapons here. Wow, it's gotten 2 great hits already. That's going to shut down this push hard. And that's a pretty interesting decision to go with the mortar. 11 minutes into the game, he actually went back down to a tier 2 unit after fielding his first tier 3 unit. And he was like, feel pretty good about my map control situation, but I want some indirect fire. Throws that mortar on the field and puts even more pressure on VonIvan to just shove him back into his base. Mine going down here on the river. Oster mortar bombarding the conscript squad right there. More mines going down on this road also. AT gun set up on the hill may force that half-track to reposition a little bit. It's doing pretty okay damage. It's got 9 kills actually. It's not bad. The half-track, the Soviet half-track is a great unit for when you're way in the lead because of its low manpower and fuel costs and high munitions cost. Oh! That mine! That friendly fire mine! He definitely should have repositioned away from that immediately after planting it. Bit of a mistake right there. Combat engineers get wiped. That's not a loss he couldn't afford by any means, though. He's still hugely in the lead.
The is taking our territory.
But yes, half-track is only 270 manpower, 30 fuel. The T-70's actually got an even cheaper manpower cost. Cheaper manpower cost, and but a pretty high fuel price tag. So if you wanted to transition from the half-track into Collins a lot less expensively, you can use that half-track as a forward. I mean, the fact that it has the utility of a forward reinforced point alone is already very strong, as we've seen this game. But also it has pretty okay firepower. You have to drop 120 munitions for the firepower upgrade to make it even, like, not even probably as good as a T-70, but still, you know, pretty strong. So if you have a huge map control and munitions lead, as Luvnest does, 2 munitions points, then that 120 munitions price tag is not that bad. And if you are confident in your half-track micro and ability to keep that thing alive, and then you can get a pretty good return on a relatively cheap investment for the other 2 resources. And I've noticed that the half-track is a lot more popular in the super high tiers of play. The half-track seems very popular among OMG Pop, Korean Army, Luvnest, Jezelin, so it seems to be alive and well in the really top tier meta, if not the latter game meta. Mortars being exchanged back and forth. Luvnest's only up to 4. This one's up to 12, so we're finally going to see a harassment attempt by VonIvan for the South VP, apparently. Try and slow things down, bringing a minesweeper to avoid exploding on his way. There's mine right there. And there, and there. A lot of mines down here, so this is the best way for him to get down there without taking too much manpower bleed, but half-track is on its way to counter, and it'll easily be able to push away some minesweepers. Shouldn't have any issue with that. Meanwhile, VonIvan is still pretty boxed into his base, slowly trying to make his way to 15 CPs, engaging as well as he can, which is not very well, as far as I can tell. Incendiary artillery is going to push him back into the base again. And Luvnest has access to the KV-8 now. If he feels that, there's a pretty good chance of GG. He waits for IS-2. That also will be the slightly safer pick. If he has read that VonIvan has gone elite troops somehow, G43s might be a telltale sign. Flamethrowers moving up into short range on this squad in green cover. Flamethrower should be able to force them out, and the cover's been destroyed, so there goes that squad. This is a little vulnerable to Luvnest's mortar, though. MG42 is able to push away that conscript squad too. So 2 of Luvnest's 4 conscript squads retreat off the battlefield. This one making its way back to the front line. This one backpedaling into some green cover while the half-track moves to support. It's going to shut down this minesweeper harassment with the half-track easily enough. AT gun is currently still on the hill, so he doesn't have range on that unless he repositions. Big hit from the mortar on that stolen machine gun, and he might actually be able to recover that. He doesn't have any 4-man squads, though, that can crew that. 4-man squads are a precious commodity for VonIvan right now, taking heavy damage from a mortar and this half-track leading him. He's going to try to recover with this squad, I think, but it's just probably not going to happen with that half-track countering. This victory point is being taken by VonIvan's machine gun to again try and slow the clock and stall for that Tiger Ace. AT gun is making its way forward to push that half-track away from that machine gun. Misses its shot right there. And it's being flanked. Half-track pulls behind a shot blocker. Mortar plus machine gun should be able to force this retreat, though.
The enemy has driven a wedge in our lines.
So that engagement went kind of okay for VonIvan, actually. He temporarily, briefly pushed Luvnest away. I don't know. Still pretty behind, though. Still very much struggling. Minesweeper's about to get shut down here in the south. Late retreat, but they should get away if VonIvan notices this. But she still hasn't. And they die. IS-2 on the field, moves to engage here in the center. Does take engine damage from that Panzerfaust, but it's going in hard. That AT gun is probably screwed. There it goes. And another AT gun right here. Is on its way, but it's a little bit late to support against that heavy tank. Still 4 command points away from a Tiger Ace. Still got some time though. It looks like it's pretty hard to set up a triple cap on this map. Even when very ahead. Not Langrskaya hard, but like Minsk Pocket hard. Maybe not even that hard, I don't know. Stun grenade! Look at that. Luvnest will retreat. Grenadier squad may actually get some territory in the south captured. Probably going for victory points first to try and continue to stall, delay, get that Tiger Ace on the field. He started floating manpower a little, I think, but it's still honestly pretty far away from that thing.
We have lost an MG team. Enemy forces are securing our territory.
That 3 mortar, I would say that's pretty much the only the only unit VonIvan has made this game that's actually traded cost effectively for its own manpower cost. Is the only unit he's fielded that he didn't lose manpower on that investment. Repositions it to safety, and Luvnest has successfully set up a triple cap. Green cover plus stolen machine gun, half track available in the area to support, more mines going down, very solid lead.
The sector has been cut off.
And VonIvan has completely given up on the north and is going hard south where there are basically no defenses but also no minesweeper in this push. So he is in danger of exploding a little bit here and there. And he does not have control of his cutoff right here either, which Luvnest is defending with this squad of conscripts.
We have liberated the objective. The enemy is taking our territory.
Luvnest takes this opportunity to grab that strategic point since he knows most of VonIvan's forces are south right now. Rifle grenade brings the flamethrower pretty low, they've got to retreat, and the IS-2 is on its way to counter. Two very nice shots from the IS-2 right there. Those 2 squads have to retreat.
Team available for deployment. We are in contact with the enemy.
VonIvan is just completely contained right now. 100 victory points remaining. No sign of him breaking out of his base at all. He just went with a second mortar because he needs indirect fire. And
That's everyone. Grenadiers ready.
gotta make another push for the North VP. Just try and keep stalling for that ace, which is the only chance he has of maybe recovering this game. And his flamethrower explodes. Mortar's doing great work though. Machine gun gets wiped. More cover constructed here in the south. More defenses from these piles. MG protecting against that approach. IS-2 rotating back north to try and get that triple cap going once again. Incendiary artillery forces a retreat from that machine gun, and this victory point is still in Luvnest control. No hope for a Tiger Ace. There's just not time. That's the game for sure. And that's GG. Luvnest definitely wins. I think I'm just gonna end the replay prematurely because I'm a little behind on the series. I want to just jump into game 2.